Hi, my name is Vishwaraj Jadeja. I've been skating for the Indian national team for speed skating on ice, so ice skating, for the last 18 years. So far, I've had 72 national records, 325 races for India, and over 10 international medals. I'm from Ahmedabad, and it's been an incredible journey to go from a city where the summer temperatures is 50 degrees almost towards the northern European cities where the temperature sometimes falls below -10. I've been skating across the world, skating on the frozen lakes and rivers in the Himalayas, to ice skating on the frozen canals of the Netherlands. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm still not done. Some more things to come. I'm excited to share my story here.
હું રાજેન્દ્રસિંહ જાડેજા વિશ્વરાજના ફાધર થઉં. અમારા કુટુંબમાં સ્પોર્ટ્સ એ એકદમ વન ઓફ ધ મેઇન પાયો છે. મારા ફાધર એ ગ્રાઉન્ડ હોકીના યુનિવર્સિટી પ્લેયર હતા. બંને 10 વર્ષ સ્કેટિંગમાં નેશનલ રમેલી છે, ગ્રાઉન્ડ હોકીમાં નેશનલ રમેલા છે. હું પોતે નેશનલ મેડલિસ્ટ છું. 4 વર્ષ સ્ટેટ ચેમ્પિયન હતો. મારી ખરી જર્ની શરૂ થઈ એઝ એ કોચ 97થી, અને ત્યારથી આજ સુધી લગભગ 750 નેશનલ મેડલ છે, 30 એશિયન મેડલ છે. અને આ એક ગુજરાતના જે સ્પોર્ટ્સમાં એમ કહેવાય કે રાષ્ટ્રીય સ્તરે બહુ જબરજસ્ત પરફોર્મન્સ નથી હોતું આપણું, પણ અમે સ્કેટિંગમાં એક અમારું મેણું હતું એ મેં તોડ્યું હતું કે 750 નેશનલ મેડલ એટલે. અને ઇન્ડિયામાં ફર્સ્ટ 3 સ્ટેટમાં ગુજરાત લગભગ 15 વર્ષ રહ્યું.
Hello and welcome to Variety with Vishwam. Today we have a very interesting guest, Vishwaraj Jadeja and Rajendra Jadeja. It's the first time where a coach father and a sports person is together coming for the interview, and we are discussing, and it's going to be a candid podcast, and let's take it up from there. Hello Vishwaraj bhai, welcome to Variety with Vishwam, and thank you for taking out time in this short trip of your Ahmedabad, where we're just rushing, and you've been running around at quite a few places. It was very eventful. Also when I visited the skating rink where you started your career as a roller skater, and it was very interesting. Welcome sir, thank you for sparing time, and our insight over here is to introduce people with sports and give your perspective about what's sports all about in your life and how does sports add value. So અહીંયા એક ગુજરાતી કોટથી શરૂઆત કરીશ. ની માફ નીચું નિશાન, નિશાન ચૂક માફ, બહુ ફેમસ કોટ છે. As we were talking about just before the podcast, that sports needs to be looked at beyond mediocrity. So we will be talking further, but before that I would start from the starting of sports in your family. So you come from a sports background, and your
generation.
Yes, so your grandfather was into sport, and your father of course comes without saying, and this was one of our guests, also a fitness trainer and fitness expert. He was mentioning about sir that the kind of contribution he has done to Ahmedabad's in terms of skating is immense, and we'll take from there. So sir, your father was a sports person in a time where there were limited means. Today we have YouTube, today we have social media, today we have TV, we have more than 20 channels showing sports live. So even Vishwaraj bhai is playing elsewhere, you can see it. But you were living in that time કે બહુ ઓછી ઇન્ફોર્મેશન હતી અને બહુ ઓછા ટેલિકાસ્ટ થઈ રહ્યા હતા. સો એ સમયની વાત કરીએ કે જ્યારે તમે કંઈક સાંભળેલું હશે આપના ફાધર પાસેથી કે ભારત દેશ જ્યારે આઝાદ થયો ત્યારે કેટલું સ્પોર્ટ્સમાં શું હતું અને કઈ રીતની જર્ની રહી. તો એ વખતની કંઈક વાત કહો સર.
મારા બંને બહેનો મારાથી પહેલાં સ્કેટિંગ ચાલુ કર્યું, પણ મારા ફાધરનું મેઇન વસ્તુ, મારા ફાધરનું વિઝન મારા મધરનો સપોર્ટ, બિંગ એ રાજપૂત ફેમિલી, ગર્લ્સને આઈ એમ ટોકિંગ અબાઉટ 1972 ઓનવર્ડ. હા, થોડો અમારો કન્ઝર્વેટિવ સમાજ છે, પણ એની અંદર બી પ્રોગ્રેસિવ રીતે મારી બંને બહેનો બંને એવી સ્પોર્ટ્સ રમ્યા. હા, અને પપ્પા રોજ અમને ગ્રાઉન્ડમાં બપોરે એમની ઓફિસથી આવે, 4 વાગે ગ્રાઉન્ડમાં લઈ જાય, ત્યાં મૂકીને આવે, કાં તો લઈને પાછા આવે અને પછી ઓફિસ જાય. એટલે મારા માટે કોમર્શિયલ એક્સપેક્ટ કરતાં હેલ્થ એક્સપેક્ટ અને કંઈક કરવું જોઈએ, એના ઉપર જ અમે આખું જીવન બધાએ કાઢ્યું.
ત્યારે કોઈ બી સ્પોર્ટ્સ હતું, મે બી ક્રિકેટ, હોકી ઇઝ અવર નેશનલ ગેમ. સો વેન પીપલ યુઝ ટુ, we have heard stories that they have very limited means given to at that point of time, because the priority was the nation was independent, there was required to be working on all the aspects, so sometimes sports person had to struggle. That is what we have heard in TV stories. And
it's fundamentally what I understood after being away for such a long time. I did an objective observation of our families, personally talking. We come from a Rajput family background. And incidentally, there was a privy purse going on till the 1972s. Once that stopped, the families had a lot of other things and avenues to do, because we were always proud of our country. And how do you serve the country then? And I think sports was one of the ways and means to kind of do that and pursue the excellence in life in general. And if you have a fit mind, you have a fit body. So that was, I think, what was always the priority of my grandfather and his father. So, and I mean, overall, I've seen that our family has been very fit, right, obviously, but not anymore, I would say, per se, because I think as you age and the means, as you said, there means ocha ase, હવે means વધારે છે, પણ હવે distractions બી વધારે છે, you know. So.
Yeah, so of course now the facilities are improving, because as we are round the corner talking about that Olympics might be hosted in Ahmedabad, and that's the pace of development happening, facilities coming up. But along with facilities, what I would want to ask is that you might bring in the facilities, but what about the people and the expertise?
So luckily, what has happened, and in my time, like in the last recent past, because I've been involved with the sport for such a long time, I know when I started, we were not even asking the right questions, be it journalists, be it administration, be it whoever. I'm talking about 18-20 years ago, when I became serious about sport. This was after, because when you start pursuing an elite sport, you need to ask all these. There was no understanding of those things. Luckily now, we are at least asking the right questions, and that's a good place to start from. So I'm hopeful that these questions will be answered, and we are going in the right direction. I think obviously the campaign to get the Olympics here is taking a lot of momentum, especially domestically. So I think I can see the vibe in the country also. Like, even if we don't get it, I think it's a very interesting thing to notice, that people will know more about the Olympics, know more about the Olympic sport. So in any case, whether we get it or not, we should still celebrate the fact that we made an attempt to getting the Summer Olympics here, and that will create a lot of awareness. It already has created a lot of awareness.
Right, it is creating awareness, it is creating development that will also, in the end, this will lead more kids to take sports. And with the internet coming in, people are not setting a benchmark locally. They are trying to set a benchmark the best in the industry. They are not, because comparison nowadays, you're not just getting compared with Ahmedabad with Mumbai. Ahmedabad's sports person can compare themselves with someone in US.
The thing is, what I always believe in is, in pursuit of excellence, how often do you want to celebrate mediocrity? You know, so if you keep on comparing yourself to athletes within your circles, then how are you improving? Is the benchmark so low? We need to keep improving the benchmark. We need to keep on pushing it, right? So luckily, with technology and with information flowing so well around the world, it's easy to just compare yourself with other countries, other athletes across the board, and try and improve yourself. Right. Which I see already happening, with the kids I mentor at his academy. They constantly keep on sending me all these YouTube videos and asking me questions like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Oh, I've seen you skating and you skate like this, but you don't skate like this. Why is that? So, and as I said, as a country, we are asking the right questions. So I'm very, very happy that we're at least asking the right questions.
Maybe you're asking right questions, agreed, but at least the academy has a source like you to give answers, because when you started you had very limited answers, you had all question marks, and you were supposed to take risks. So coming to that, we'll come back to that, but before that I would start with his coaching history. So sir, you were doing roller skating, then how long did you continue your roller skating?
Up to 1980.
Up till 1980. And in that period of time, after that, what initiated starting this academy?
એ તો બહુ લેટર સ્ટેજની છે. પછી 1990માં હું પાછો નેશનલ રમવા ગયો રોલર હોકીની ટીમ લઈને ફ્રોમ ધ ગુજરાત સ્ટેટ. ત્યાં અમે જોયું કે ગુજરાતનું રિઝલ્ટ વોઝ બહુ જ બોટમ લેવલમાં હતું. દેટ આઈ હેવ ડિસાઇડેડ કે જો હું પાછો આ ફિલ્ડમાં આવીશ તો આઈ કીપ ગુજરાત ઓન ટોપ અને આઈ વિલ બી ધ બેસ્ટ કોચ ઓફ ઇન્ડિયા. એ મારું જાતનું કમિટમેન્ટ હતું. એટલે એના માટે બોલી નાખવું પછી બહુ બોલવામાં તકલીફ નથી, પણ કરવામાં એનાથી બહુ બધી તકલીફો આવે. બટ અલ્ટિમેટલી ફ્રોમ 97 ઓનવર્ડ કોચિંગ બરાબર ચાલ્યું. ઘણા બધા છોકરાઓ નેશનલ ચેમ્પિયન થયા અને ગુજરાત વોઝ ઓન ટોપ ફ્રોમ 97 ટીલ 2012-13. પછી ઘણા બધા ચેન્જીસ બીજા આવ્યા. રિંકો અલગ ટાઈપની થઈ, કોટેડ ટ્રેક આવ્યા અને ગ્રાફ, અને મારી રિંક હતી એ તૂટી રીડેવલપમેન્ટ માટે. એટલે ઘણા બધા સારા સ્કેટરો જતા રહ્યા અને ત્યાં આખું ન્યૂ ક્રિએશન ચાલુ છે. ઇટ્સ એ પ્રોસેસ ચાલુ છે. આશા રાખીએ છીએ. પછી હું ફેડરેશનની અંદર એઝ એ ઓફિશિયલ 2002માં મને બોલાવ્યો અને કોચિંગ કેમ્પ માટે મને કીધું કે સાહેબ તમે કોચિંગ કેમ્પ લો. એટલે 5 વર્ષ મેં કોચિંગ આપ્યું. પણ ત્યાં એ લેવલે પછી શું થાય કે તમારું વધારે પડતો ટાઈમ એમાં જાય. વર્ષના 5 કેમ્પ આવે, એ કેમ્પ 10-15 દિવસનો હોય, તો સરવાળે તમારી લોકલ ટીમ રહી જાય અને અલ્ટિમેટલી તમે સર્વાઈવ થાઓ કે તમારો જે એમ છે તો લોકલ ગુજરાતના પ્લેયરોને લાવવાનો. એટલે ધ્યાન આવ્યું અને મેં જોયું કે ભાઈ ફેડરેશનનું બી એ વિઝન નથી. એ ઓલમોસ્ટ એ વિઝન નહોતું કે આપણે કેમ ના જીતીએ. હું કીધું મને 5 વર્ષ આપવાના, હું કોચિસને એક ટીમ બનાવું અને જો ચાઇનીઝ તાઇવાની મેડલ જીતી શકતા તો આપણે જીતી શકીએ. આજે સ્ટેજ આવી ગયો છે કે નાઉ વી આર એટ ઇન્ટરનેશનલ લેવલ મેડલ આવે છે છોકરાઓના.
Not from Gujarat yet.
બરાબર. એટલે ગુજરાત we are lacking in terms of getting medals.
બીજી બધી સરકારો અત્યારે ખૂબ જબરજસ્ત ફાઇનાન્શિયલી હેલ્પ કરે છે. COE જે
Center of Excellence.
ગુજરાતની સ્કીમ છે સેન્ટ્રલ ગવર્મેન્ટ, સ્પોર્ટ્સ ઓથોરિટી ઓફ ગુજરાતની, ગવર્મેન્ટ ઓફ ગુજરાતની, એ સારી છે. 40 પ્લેયરો ધારો કે સ્કેટિંગની વાત કરીએ તો 50 સ્કેટરોને દર મહિને 5,000 રૂપિયાનું સ્ટાઇપન્ડ મળે. પાછું બીજા વર્ષે ફરીવાર સિલેક્શન થાય, પણ એ રકમ બહુ ઓછી કહેવાય. બિંગ એ નોન ઓલિમ્પિક સ્પોર્ટ્સ હજુ એમાં ઘણું બધું કરવું જોઈએ. સ્પોર્ટ્સ એ સ્પોર્ટ્સ છે. એમ કે ભાઈ ઓલિમ્પિકવાળાને આપવાનું, નોન ઓલિમ્પિક, ભાઈ અલ્ટિમેટલી એ ગુજરાતનો સ્કેટર છે કે ઇન્ડિયાનો સ્કેટર છે, રમે તો છે ને. આપણે એમ કહીએ કે રમતું ગુજરાત કરું ને આ કરું, તો એના માટે એવું માપદંડ કરો તો આપણે ત્યાં એટલા ઓલિમ્પિક સ્પોર્ટ્સ સેન્ટર જ નથી કે એટલા કોચિસ પણ નથી. ભાઈ તમારે ત્યાં અલ્ટિમેટલી પ્રજા સ્પોર્ટ્સ રમે એ બહુ મહત્ત્વનું છે. તમારું હેલ્થ બજેટ સ્ટ્રેટ અવે રિલેટેડ વિથ યોર ફિઝિકલ ફિટનેસ. જો બાળકો વધારે રમે તો તમારું હેલ્થ બજેટમાં ફરક પડે. એક સારો નાગરિક મળે દેશને.
And if you introduce sports, then if whether they want to go in defense service or any form of service, we produce strong people. We don't produce weak people. That's what the intention is.
એક તો આપણા વખતમાં ગુજરાતીઓને કાયમનું મહેણું છે કે માય કાંગલી પ્રજા, આ લોકો રમે નહીં, એટલે મારા મગજમાં હતું એ આપણે તોડવાનું છે અને અમે સ્કેટિંગમાં તો તોડીને બતાવ્યું. શીખ આપણે ત્યાં જીનેટિકલી જ આપણો ખોરાક એવો છે. પછી પાછા એમાં આપણા ધર્મવાળું હોય કે જૈન હોય તો લસણ ના ખાતો હોય, કાંદા ના ખાતો હોય, આ ના ખાતો હોય. એ બધાની વચ્ચે પણ તમારે પરફોર્મન્સ કરાવવાનું, કેમ કે તમે એમ ના કહી શકો. અને મારું માનવું છે કે નોનવેજ હોય કે આ એનાથી કોઈ બહુ ફરક નથી પડતો.
હું દાળ ભાત ખાઉં છું.
આ વિશ્વરાજ મને બહુ હમણાં ખબર પડી કે બીકેમ નાઉ એકદમ વેજીટેરિયન થઈ ગયું.
ના એકદમ નહીં, પહેલેથી એવું જ હતું, બટ ઇટ્સ જસ્ટ વી રિયલાઇઝ દેટ I mean, there is whole science behind it, obviously. We cannot just criticize our food. બધા કહે છે કે ઇન્ડિયન ફૂડમાં આમ છે ને, no, that's not true. That is not true.
તમારે એને પ્લાન કરવું
You have to just plan it well.
આજે આપણે વિરાટ કોહલી ને ઘણા બધા ક્રિકેટરો છે ટોટલ વેજીટેરિયન છે.
So it's a myth that only non-veg food gives you strength or something like that. Maybe that's the job of good diet people and good coach who can design the right. If they are not able to afford nutritionists, at least the coach can give basic guidelines that this is the food.
સાહેબ જો પેરેન્ટ્સ થોડો એક્ટિવ હોય તો બહુ આરામથી 3 વસ્તુ જોઈએ, કાર્બોહાઈડ્રેટ જોઈએ, પ્રોટીન જોઈએ ને એ કેલ્શિયમ ને બધું જોઈએ. કેમાંથી મળે એ શોધવું પડે. નેચરલ વે મળે સારામાં સારું.
Absolutely. So maybe your basic diet can be improvised a little and you can do it. This is a question to you. Your journey where you have seen your family, your grandfather as a sports person, your aunt as a sports person, your father as a sports person. So you had lot of ideals within the family itself કે તમારા ફેમિલીમાં જ બહુ બધા લોકો છે કે જે સ્પોર્ટ્સમાં છે, એટલે સ્પોર્ટ્સ તમારા ટેબલ પર લાવવું અઘરી વાત નહીં હોય. એન્ડ બિકોઝ ઇટ કમ્સ ઇન યોર હેરિટેજ ઇન યોર ફેમિલી કે જેના ગ્રાન્ડફાધરે ધક્કો માર્યો હોય છોકરાઓને, હવે એના છોકરાઓ બાય ડિફોલ્ટ your father would have pushed you in sports and he being a coach.
I think it was more about what happened for me. If you ask me, I have two very distinct memories. One is where I remember skating and I remember walking at the same time somehow, I feel. But it was definitely. And obviously when you grow up in a household with so many legends, both my aunts, my father, my grandfather, the benchmark of expectations, it was unsaid कि भाई if you're going to pursue the sport, either do it seriously or stop, become an engineer or whatever. I did try to become a bad engineer, but so back of my mind I knew कि यार if no matter what I do right now in the country, in India, I'm not going to be good enough I'm not going to be as good as my aunt or my father or in terms of sports achievement. So I was like, okay, I made up my mind that at some point I want to pursue this Olympic dream. Because the world championship we've gone to, national champion thai gaya che, state champion, whatever. So all of those things, and my grandfather used to also play hockey for a long time in university. So I think all of those things are like team sport, individual sport, I feel was a bit of a question, but eventually I decided to go for an individual sport. And until I think 12, 13, I was doing all sports just to figure out how to just develop my neural pathways. And that was all aware decisions made at home collectively that, hey, you know what, સ્પોર્ટ્સ રમવું છે તો રમવું તો પડશે, ભણવું તો પડશે, ટાઈમ મેનેજમેન્ટ કરવું પડે, which was I was okay at. And so I cleared 12 science and had a national gold medal at the same time in the same year.
You were into running, cycling.
Yeah, running, cycling, football a little bit, hockey.
So you had so many sports. So why so many sports?
I think I was too late at starting all the sports, so I was not that good. And skating was something which I can always come back to, and I was always good. Or at least that was the understanding for me that, oh no, I can skate.
Right. So you would have memories when very small kid going to your father's rink even before skating. So you would have...
Yeah, I remember him playing roller hockey distinctively because I think I was 5, I think there. In the 90s, he was still playing a little bit. He would take me there and I'd see, oh wow, okay. So those kind of things and yeah. So it was obviously that was one inspiration, like this looks fun. I think it was also from the aspect of fun, and I was probably very hyperactive kid with a lot of energy. It was a good thing that they put me in sports.
આજે પણ ઘણા બધા છોકરાઓ એડવાન્સ સ્ટ્રીમમાં મારી જોડે અત્યારે 30 40 છોકરાઓ છે. એ એમને જનરલ બેચમાંથી મારા સુધી પહોંચવાનું એક જર્ની છે. એ લગભગ 6 મહિનાથી લઈને વર્ષની હોય. ત્યાં સુધીમાં દેખાય કે ભાઈ ઓકે આ છોકરો નેચરલ ટેલેન્ટેડ છે, એની એજિલિટી, એની ફ્લેક્સિબિલિટી, મુમેન્ટ. અમે પેરેન્ટ્સને કહીએ ભાઈ આને હવે પછી એકના સ્ટેજમાં લઈ જાઓ. પછી પેરેન્ટ્સનો ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ કન્ટિન્યુઝ રહે. તમે એને એક એઝ એ કોચ જો સારું નર્સિંગ કરતા હો, કોચિંગ કે પછી એનું કેર કરતા હો, તો આગળ ઓટોમેટિક જર્ની ઇઝી થાય. પણ સક્સેસ ઇઝી નથી. એના માટે કન્ટિન્યુઅસ હાર્ડ વર્ક કરવું પડે. આપણે ત્યાં તકલીફ શું છે કે એજ ગ્રુપ અમારા 6 વર્ષથી શરૂ થાય. ખરું સ્પોર્ટ્સ શરૂ થાય છે વિશ્વરાજ કહે છે એમ 12-13 વર્ષ પછી જ. અમે જે અમુક ફોરેન કોચિસ જોડે જે સમજ્યા કે 14 વર્ષ સુધી એ ફનની જેમ જ કરાવવા જોઈએ. બહુ પ્રેશર નહીં કરવું
અને
જોઈએ.
અમારા ફેમિલી નોઈંગલી ઓર અનનોઈંગલી દેટ હેપન્ડ
હા
એમ. એન્ડ દેટ ઇઝ વાય માય સ્કેટિંગ કરિયર ઓલ્સો ઇઝ પ્રોલોંગ્ડ બિકોઝ ઓફ દેટ. બિકોઝ મારું ન્યુરલ ડેવલપમેન્ટ જ સારું થયું છે અને પડતા ફાવે છે.
હવે વિશ્વરાજની વાત કરું તો બીજા પેરેન્ટ તો થાકી જાય. પહેલાં 4 વર્ષ નેશનલ રમેલો પણ મેડલ નહોતો, પછી આવે, બરાબર ને? હા,
મારે તો 5 years પછી આવ્યો હતો મારો નેશનલ.
એટલે હું કાયમ એક્ઝામ્પલ આપું, ભાઈ તમારે સ્પોર્ટ્સ કરાવવું જોઈએ. મેડલ આવે કે ના આવે એના જે બીજા બેનિફિટ છે, પર્ટિક્યુલર રોલર સ્કેટિંગના, હું 100% કહું કે તમારું સ્ટડી સુધરે 100%. મારી જોડે કોઈ બી 50-60% વાળો છોકરો લાવો ને મારી બેચ સુધી પહોંચે, 2 વર્ષમાં 20% વધે. ભલે તમે રોજના
હું નહોતો વધ્યો.
એ મારો કોઈ સિરિયસ સ્કેટર જ નહોતો મારી આખી ટીમમાં, સૌથી નોટોરિયસ હતો.
તો વોટ નોટોરિયસ હતો, પણ કડક કોચ. Was he a tough coach?
See, I think what was our thing was there was a big grey area because he was a father and he was a coach. એટલે મને ખબર નથી કે હું ફાધરનું સાંભળું કે કોચનું સાંભળું. કોચિસ તો મને ઓથોરિટી ગમતી જ નહોતી પહેલેથી. એટલે કોચ ગમે, આઈ મીન યુ નો, સો દેન આઈ વોઝ લાઈક ટીચર્સ, તો સોરી આઈ કેનોટ ડીલ વિથ ઇટ. એટલે લકીલી વોટ હેપન્ડ કે આઈ પ્રોબલી વોઝ અ બિટ ટેલેન્ટેડ, તો આઈ કુડ સ્કેટ વિથ સમ ઓફ હિઝ બેસ્ટ સ્કેટર્સ, પણ ટિલ ડેટ આઈ એમ સ્ટીલ નોટ હિઝ બેસ્ટ સ્કેટર ટુ બી ઓનેસ્ટ. એમ એ પૂજન કરીને એક છે અમારો friend.
બેસ્ટ ટીમમાં પહેલાં તો એ વખતે ઇનલાઇન જે સ્કેટ હતા એ કદાચ અમે એટલા એફોર્ડ બી કરી શક્યા નહોતા. અને મારું એક હતું, નેશનલ મેડલ આવ્યા પછી ઇનલાઇન મળે.
એટલે ત્યારે ક્વોડ્રિલેટરલ સ્કેટ્સ હતા, ત્યાંથી ઇનલાઇન આવવું હોય તો એમની ટીમમાં રૂલ હતો કે યુ હેવ ટુ વિન અ નેશનલ ગોલ્ડ ઓર અ નેશનલ મેડલ.
નેશનલ મેડલ આવો પછી જ.
એટલે પછી મારે આઈ ટુક મી અ વાઇલ, એમ પછી વન આઈ મૂવ્ડ, પછી તો આઈ મૂવ્ડ, પછી નો વોઝ નો લુકિંગ બેક. બટ એઝ આઈ સેડ, આઈ વોઝ નોટ હિઝ બેસ્ટ સ્કેટર એઝ એન એથ્લીટ કહું તો.
પણ એઝ સ્ટેટ ચેમ્પિયનશિપમાં 4 વર્ષ જે નથી મેડલ આવ્યા, સ્ટેટ ચેમ્પિયન પાછો એ જ હોય.
ગોલ્ડ એટલે સ્ટેટ ચેમ્પિયનનું ગોલ્ડ મેડલ લઈ, આઈ મીન યુ નો ઓવરઓલ મળી જાય, પણ પછી આગળ નેશનલમાં યુ ગેટ અ બિટ ડિસ્ટ્રેક્ટેડ. આઈ
હોઈ શકે એનું
ડોન્ટ નો,
ટેમ્પરામેન્ટ એટલું ડેવલપ નહીં થયું હોય ત્યારે.
probably I was not focused enough then. And but I mean, yeah, as I said, there was other skaters in the team which was so much better. And but as I said, there was ceiling also. તો મેં સુને 16 થાવ, 11-12 પહોંચો પછી યુ હેવ ટુ ડિસાઇડ કે હવે સ્કેટિંગ કરાવું, રોલર સ્કેટિંગ કરાવું કે પછી ભણાવું છોકરાઓને.
ઇન્ડિયન ફેમિલીનો મોટો પ્રોબ્લેમ છે.
એટલે એઝ આઈ સેડ, નોન ઓલિમ્પિક સ્પોર્ટ હોય તો એ તો ઓટોમેટિક સીલિંગ છે જ, કે તમે 16 યર્સના થાવ એટલે 10, 11, 12 આવ્યું એટલે તમારું યુ હેવ ટુ સ્ટાર્ટ મેકિંગ લાઈફ ડિસિઝન્સ. અને વી આર નોટ ઇન યુરોપ કે તમારે વોકેશનલ એજ્યુકેશનમાં બી તમને મુકાય છોકરા. દેર ઇઝ એન ઓપ્શન ફોર કિડ્સ. એટલે ઓપ્શન તો હશે જ, પણ ઓબ્વિયસલી વેરી ફ્યુ પીપલ આર, આઈ મીન not enough people who would be doing sports or are well educated or upward mobile families would want to go for that option.
So what was your thought? Were you at that point of time you were ready for going for further sports at 11th 12th or?
I think I was still, I had, my other thing was I had to beat everybody on his team, બરાબર, or outlast them, બેમાંથી એક. So at some point, you know, we had success. I had a lot of success at whatever period of time. And eventually, I think we were in 2006, so we were developing this roller hockey, inline hockey team, which is a summer version of ice hockey for India. And we did it, and I saw the level, we are too far behind. And I got also an opportunity to go represent India at the World Championships. The level is completely crazy. If I want to pursue the sport, I want to first pick up a Olympic sport, and beyond that I want to, if I have to work hard anyways, I'm going to work hard. I might as well pursue an Olympic sport. પછી મેં જોયું રોલર સ્કેટિંગ અને ઇનલાઇન સ્કેટિંગના ફોટાસ અને વિડીયોઝ, અને મેં જોયું આઈસ સ્કેટિંગ. મેં કીધું પોઝિશન તો સેમ છે, બૂટ બી મોરલેસ સેમ છે, તો આપણે આઈસમાં મૂવ થઈ જઈએ. સો દેટ વોઝ ધ આઈડિયા. 12th પછી મેં કીધું બેડ એન્જિનિયરિંગ કરી રહ્યો હતો હું, સો ઇટ વોઝ નોટ ગોઈંગ એનીવેર. આઈ વોઝ સ્ટીલ સ્કેટિંગ હિયર એન્ડ ધેર, સ્ટીલ વિનિંગ અ બિટ.
So maybe during your engineering you had made a decision that you want to move out of
absolutely, because I was missing the sport also a lot, just to do sports, because engineering programs then were very intense. And હું જતો તો બહુ દૂર ભણવા માટે, પણ વિસનગર, ગણપત યુનિવર્સિટી and stuff like that, so it was just not viable for me, to be honest.
All right, now what's your advice for the kids, for the families who want sports to come in their kids?
દરેક બાળકે સ્પોર્ટ્સ રમવું જોઈએ. હું મારે ત્યાં સેન્ટ ઝેવિયર્સ હાઈસ્કૂલમાં છીએ અમે, ત્યાં ઘણી બધી સ્પોર્ટ્સ છે. એટલે પેરેન્ટ્સો અલગ અલગ વિઝિટ કરતાં મારી પાસે આવે કે ભાઈ સ્કેટિંગ પર આવ્યા, હું તમારા બાળકને લઈ જાઉં, આ બધી ગેમ બતાવવાની, જ્યાં એ ઊભો રહે તો દેટ ઇઝ ઇઝ નેચરલ સિલેક્શન ઓફ ધ સ્પોર્ટ્સ, વોટ એવર ગેમ ઇટ મે બી. તમને ગમે એવું તમારે નથી કરવાનું, એમને કરવાનું. તો એક નેચરલ એલાયન્સ તમારું જે ગેમ જોડે થાય ત્યાં એને રમાડો. રોજ 2 કલાક જે છોકરો ગ્રાઉન્ડમાં જશે એક સારો નાગરિક થશે, હેલ્થવાઇઝ ઇમ્પ્રૂવ થશે, એનું જબરજસ્ત તમારું એન્ટીબોડીઝ ડેવલપ થશે અને માંદો ઓછો પડશે ને. આપણે તો મોટા મોટી વસ્તુ એ જોઈએ. આટલા બધા લોકો વચ્ચે હાઉ ટુ ફાઇટ. અધરવાઇઝ શું થાય? જે છોકરાઓ સ્પોર્ટ્સ નથી રમ્યા અને જે છોકરાઓ સ્પોર્ટ્સ રમ્યા, તો સ્પોર્ટ્સમેન જે હોય ને એ જે દિવસથી કોમ્પિટિટિવ સ્પોર્ટ્સમાં ગયો, વોટ એવર ઇઝ મે બી, તે દિવસથી રોજ હારતા ને જીતતા શીખ્યો. ના, હારતા જીતતા જીવનમાં હાર જીત જ છે. જે છોકરાઓ હવે સ્પોર્ટ્સ નથી રમ્યા એ ગ્રેજ્યુએટ થાય, મે બી વોટ એવર ડિગ્રી લીધી હોય, ડૉક્ટર થયો, એન્જિનિયર થયો, કોમર્સ થયો, એ પહેલી એસાઇનમેન્ટ જ્યારે એની નોકરીની આવે કે એની આવે ત્યારે પહેલી વાર જે 2 ડિસઅપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ આવે ને, એ સ્પોર્ટ્સમેન આખી જિંદગી ઝેલતો આવ્યો હોય એટલે એને કોઈ દાડો કોઈ પ્રોબ્લેમ જ ના થાય. મારા ઘણા બધા છોકરાને પૂછ્યું કેવું લાગે, સર કોઈ તકલીફ જ નથી લાઈફમાં. એટલી હાર્ડકોર ટ્રેનિંગ અને એટલું બધું હાર્યા જીત્યા છીએ કે ગમે સિચ્યુએશન ફેસ આવે અમે ઇઝીલી કરી શકીએ.
Right. So it gives a strong, resilient spirit to live a life in a very strong way. જીવનમાં પડતા આવડે, જે વિશ્વરાજભાઈએ કીધું કે he has always said that his overall development was so good that he knows how to fall.
એટલે એમાં બી ડેવલપ સો ગુડ એટલે ઇટ વોઝ જસ્ટ અ રિફ્લેક્સ એક્શન. ઇવેન્ચ્યુઅલી ઇટ બીકેમ અ રિફ્લેક્સ એક્શન. સો
Right. So reflex action automatically, lot of things get developed when
તમે ગમે સ્પોર્ટ્સ રમો, બાળકો રોજ 2 કલાક જવા જોઈએ ગ્રાઉન્ડમાં. હા, એનાથી પછી એ બાળક કઈ સ્પોર્ટ્સમાં ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ છે, તમારું બજેટ તમને શું પરમિટ કરે છે કે નથી કરતું. બાળકો માટે પેરેન્ટ્સો બધું કરતા હોય તો તમને સારો દીકરો મળશે, દીકરી મળશે અને એક સારો નાગરિક મળશે.
now moving to your career, that you were, as you said, bad engineering you were learning, and then did you actually finish it or
no, I dropped out.
you dropped out? All right. So thereafter, after dropping out, there would be some decisions.
There was no decision. There was the thought was कि भाई अभी next moving on, I want to pursue sports. I have to figure out how to get out of here because I saw कि infrastructure was crumbling rather. In the sport which I was doing at the time. અને as I said, એટલે મારી રિંક બી રેનોવેટ થવાની હતી. મેં કીધું I don't have this much time, man. I just don't have that much time. અને I mean, અને ત્યારે ઇન્ફોર્મેશન ટેકનોલોજી વધારે ઓપન થઈ હતી. I was looking at more and more international situations happening everywhere. એટલે I thought now I think, અને મારા જેટલા બી ટીમમેટ હતા more or less બધા સ્ટોપ કરી રહ્યા હતા because they had to move on in life. As I said, 18 plus થાવ તમે તો you have to start choosing other things in life. So I was like, all right. So one day I just was going through the newspaper. It said study in Europe. I was like, okay, let me apply. Let's see what happens. I applied. I got in. I did a couple of rounds of interview. In 2008, so it was also new for European Union to receive a lot of education people. So હું ફંડામેન્ટલી ભણવાને રમવા મૂવ થયો અને ઘરેથી અગ્રીમેન્ટ એવું જ હતું કે ભાઈ યુ હેવ ટુ ફિગર આઉટ ઓન યોર ઓન બિકોઝ ફાઇનાન્શિયલી વી કેનોટ સપોર્ટ. મેં કીધું કે ઓકે ડન છે. એન્ડ દેટ્સ વોટ હેપન્ડ. આઈ મૂવ્ડ ટુ યુરોપ એન્ડ સ્ટાર્ટેડ ધ જર્ની ટુ.
Financially there were limitations.
We took a student loan and that was it.
So you took a loan which you had to repay.
It's all taken care of now.
Now also it is easily available. Yeah. Now student loans are not very difficult.
ત્યારે પણ it was a bit of a challenge, but we figured out. એ બધું કેવું છે ને કે પપ્પા and me, we were like very clean or cool about it કે ના કરવાનું છે, okay fine, let's figure out a way. So we always had with him and me, we've always had sports માટે હશે તો we've always figured a way out કે ના how do we keep doing what we do.
Yeah, because sports person ની તો journey માં he would have seen his challenges. Yeah. So he would have understood your challenges and there would not be discussion કે ભાઈ શું કરવાનું, કેમ કરવું છે. જે સૌથી પહેલો જે સવાલ આવે છે your hurdle in
ફંડામેન્ટલી હાઈલી અમારા ઘરમાં હર્ડલ એટલું ખાસ હતું નહીં કે કેમ, like how, mostly it was how, not about કેમ.
હા અને whether it will work, not work.
That was again, I mean, you have to figure it out.
What's your message to other parents?
What's your message?
What's your message?
Support your child. Simple.
Like create a safe environment.
અને હું હમણાં પેરેન્ટ્સોને બીજી બી બહુ કહું છું ઘણા વખતથી, તમારું ડ્રીમ છે કંઈ કે આને કંઈ બનાવો છે તો થશે. અમારી પાસે અત્યારે બાળકો નાના આવે અપ ટુ 15 years સુધી, એનું ડ્રીમ બિચારાનું હોય કે ના હોય એની કોઈ વેલ્યુ જ ના હોય. એ ગમે એટલું હાર્ડલી 0.5% કે 1% લોકો બાળકોની જે ઈચ્છા કે એનું ડ્રીમ હોય એને સપોર્ટ કરે. કેમ કે આપણા ત્યાં અને પર્ટિક્યુલર ગુજરાતમાં શું કમાશે,
Which is also important, no doubt about it.
ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ. પણ તમે બાળક એટલે હું કાયમ કહું આને રમવું છે પણ તમે રિંગ સુધી લાવો તો તમારે પડશે ને, સ્કૂટર પર કે ગાડીમાં ગમે એમ કરીને ત્યાં સુધી લાવશો જ. એટલે હવે હું નવું પૂછું ભાઈ તમારું ડ્રીમ છે તો એ ડ્રીમ અહીંયા ફૂલફિલ થશે. આ મારો ઇતિહાસ છે.
Like today also I had some mentor sessions with some of the parents. I had to ask them, what do you want? And because it's still true. We can say બધા પેરેન્ટ્સ કે આપણે બધા જે ન્યૂ એજ પેરેન્ટ્સ છે, they are like, ના અમે તો ફ્રીડમ આપીએ છીએ ને.
But there is no need to give.
It has to be safe at home for the kid to imagine his future and dream about it.
And also by studying an XYZ thing.
But it can be the child's choice to study. What's the problem? I don't see a problem with that either. Sports is something which has to become an integral part of our lives where we are just active.
And that does not mean that you have to leave your studies. You have to manage time.
Manage time. That is it. Fundamentally, I came back. The thing is, at the academy, we have all these kids who are very fit. They went to Ladakh to go to participate in the Khelo India Winter Games. And they were really fit. And I saw their videos then, very fit. Then a month later, I come here to see what's going on. Completely unfit. And I was like, what happened? Sir, exam. I had exams. I have not shown up for a month. And I was like, what does that mean? A month. Are you sure you've just set your goals? And luckily, આ બધાના પેરેન્ટ્સ બી બહુ ચિલ હતા કે ના અમે તો એમને અલાઉ કરતા હતા પણ હવે ભણે નહીં એને ટાઈમ મેનેજમેન્ટ ના થાય તો અમે શું કરીએ. સો that was also very refreshing to see that the parents were on board with me. ટાઈમ મેનેજમેન્ટ નથી બરાબર કરતો, ફિટનેસ તો જોઈએ ને, પરસ્યુ કરવું તમારે આ.
Right. And one more challenging question for, as it is said, ગુજરાતી પ્રજા એટલે એવું લોકોના મગજમાં છે કે ભાઈ સ્પોર્ટ્સ નહીં, આર્મીમાં ઓછા સ્ટેટિસ્ટિક્સ એવું કહે છે. એટલે પણ
what I'm saying is, I'm talking statistic એવું કહે છે સ્પોર્ટ્સમાં we are
lacking.
આજે ગુજરાતની રેજિમેન્ટ નથી ને, આખા ઇન્ડિયામાં બધા સ્ટેટની રેજિમેન્ટ છે. એટલે આજે શું થાય ગુજરાતવાળાને, હવે તો જો કે મિલિટરીમાં ઓપન થઈ ગયું કે સ્ટેટ વાઇઝ કે એનું મહત્ત્વ નથી, રેજિમેન્ટ્સ હોય કે ગમે હોય. પણ એટલીસ્ટ મારા ભાગે જે સોશિયલ રિસ્પોન્સિબિલિટી આવી બાળકોની કે આજે સ્કેટિંગમાં મારી સાથે છે, દે આર સો ફિટ. મિનિમમ અમારે ત્યાં 4-5 વર્ષનો હોય કે 6 વર્ષની ઉપરના એક આખું ફિટ એક સેશન જ હોય કે 1.5 કલાકથી 1 કલાક એક્સરસાઇઝ ફિઝિકલ કરવાની અને રોજ અલગ અલગ હોય. એટલે એમને બી છોકરાઓને ઘરે રાખવા એ પેરેન્ટ્સો માટે પ્રોબ્લેમ છે અમારે ત્યાં. મને કે આ એટલી બધી જીદ કરે, રિંગ પર તો જવું જ છે. પછી અમારી જનરલ બેચ હોય કે ગમે બેચ હોય અને અમે દરેક એડમિશનને એમ જ જોઈએ, મારા કોચિસોને એક બહુ સ્ટ્રિક્ટ ઇન્સ્ટ્રક્શન છે, આ કરશે કે નહીં કરે આપણી જવાબદારી નથી. આપણું હોવું જોઈએ કે તમારું જે ઇન્વોલ્વમેન્ટ છે અને નેશનલ ચેમ્પિયન બનાવવાનો છે એવી રીતે ટ્રીટ કરવાનો.
બરાબર. So you have to treat him as he's the best player.
Yes.
Whether he does it or not, it is his challenge. જે વિશ્વરાજભાઈ તમને બહુ કોટ કરે છે, ઘોડાને ગધેડ. I try to use ઘોડા, but
જે છે donkey is donkey.
ઘોડાને પાણી સુધી લઈ જાય.
કોચિસોનું એક છે કે કોચિસ કમિટમેન્ટ જો હોય 100% જોઈએ. મારું લગભગ 100%ની આસપાસ છે. હું હાર્ડલી રિંકમાં એબસન્ટ હોઉં. એબસન્ટ 2 જ કારણસર, કાં એટલો બધો માંદો છું કે હું રિંક સુધી જઈ શકતો નથી, જે સાલું 25 વર્ષમાં થયું નથી એવું કે એટલો બધો માંદો પડ્યો. બીજું, કાં તો હું અમદાવાદની બહાર છું, એ બી બહાર જવાનું રીઝન મારું 90% સ્કેટિંગ જ હોય.
સ્પોર્ટ્સથી જ કનેક્ટેડ હોય,
ચેમ્પિયનશિપ હોય, નેશનલ હોય, વોટ એવર.
What's the most important aspect which we want people to understand is showing up.
Yes.
Whatever happens, good day, bad day, tough day,
showing
tight
up
day.
is winning half the fight. Barabar. For example, I was at this Winter Master Games, like open Olympics for old people. And on the 10 kilometers, like we had all these other distances. So ek pachi ek distance and outdoor race હતી. And the weather was extremely cold, -5 with high winds. And outdoor હોય તો તમારી બહુ જ તમે હેરાન થઈ જાઓ, because everything's frozen, you cannot feel your legs, you cannot feel your body. તો ત્યારે what happened on the 10 kilometer, I had a gold medal. બરાબર, it was my first gold medal like this on an international event, masters હતું. તો પણ why did that happen? Because I showed up. A lot of the other players did not show up. Yeah, it's too cold, it's weather's too extreme, આવું નહીં થાય તેવું નહીં થાય. And I just showed up. That was it. And I won the gold. So I think that's a small example of how you just have to show up. Showing up is winning half the fight. That's it.
Well, whatever is the output, it's later down the line. You have to try and you have to be there. You might have a bad day. You might not be best of your fitness. But consistency matters.
Yes, absolutely.
હવે અત્યારે એક બીજું જે સરસ થયું એ છે કે જે હવેની જનરેશન ન્યૂ મધર્સ એની આગલી મેં લગભગ 3 જનરેશનના પેરેન્ટ્સો જોયા. એમાં જે સૌથી પહેલી જનરેશન હતી લગભગ 9 એ પેરેન્ટ્સમાં ઘણી આજે જેના છોકરા સ્કેટિંગ કરે છે કે સર હું તમારા પાસે સ્કેટિંગ શીખીને ગઈ છું પણ અમને ફેમિલીના રિસ્ટ્રિક્શન હતા એટલે અમે કરી ના શક્યા ત્યારે એવું હતું નહીં આટલું બધું એન્વાયરમેન્ટ. તો આજે પેરેન્ટ્સોમાં એક વસ્તુ તો છે કે જે એમને બાળકોના હેલ્થ પ્રત્યે અવેરનેસ બહુ સારી છે, સ્પોર્ટ્સનું મહત્ત્વ સમજવા માંડ્યા છે કેમ કે આટલું બધું બ્રોડકાસ્ટ થતું હોય એટલે એમને ક્યાંક તો થાય ને મારો ચાઇલ્ડ અને આ મોબાઈલે તો આમ શું કહેવાય છોકરાઓની પથ્થર ઠોકી નાખી છે. બાળકો મોબાઈલમાંથી બહાર આવતા નથી, પેરેન્ટ્સો એને મેનેજ નથી કરી શકતા કેવી રીતે કાઢવું બહાર. એટલીસ્ટ એટલે એવા બી બહુ બધા પેરેન્ટ્સ છે
2 કલાક તો ફોન
2 કલાક તો ફોન ના ઉપાડે. અને પછી એમને કહું તમે છે ને એને જે બી ગમે એ કરાવો, એ કરાયા પછી સ્ટાર્ટ ધેમ ઇમોશનલ બ્લેકમેલ કે ભાઈ હવે તમને આ મોબાઈલ આ ટાઈમ મળશે. કેમ નાના છોકરાઓ તો બહુ જ જિદ્દી હોય પણ એને તમારે કે હવે સ્કેટિંગ આ છોકરાનો હું જનરલ બેચની વાત કરું છું, એડવાન્સ લેવલ તો અલગ. જનરલ બેચમાં બી છોકરા ઘેર રહેતા નથી કે અમારો પ્રોગ્રામ જ એવો જબરજસ્ત હોય કે એમને એટલું બધું મજા આવે અંદર એમ કે એમને કહો આખો દિવસ સ્કેટિંગ કરો તો આખો દિવસ કરે એવા છે. એ તમારે એટમોસ્ફિયર ડેવલપ કરવું પડે.
રાઈટ રાઈટ. એટલે એટમોસ્ફિયર ડેવલપ કરવું બહુ જરૂરી છે અને at the same point of time if we criticize the technology or probably see my work podcasting is completely on internet, we're trying to add value to people. It's not just about lot of content creation is said that it's only about promoting people. It's about giving a perspective, putting ideas, sharing knowledge, things. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we had Sapna Vyas. She lost weight, and we had Uma Naidu lost 60 kg, and she put up a video online that inspires her. Losing 60 kg naturally, coming down from 130 kg to 80, and now between 70 and 80, and now coaching people on fitness. It's a very different thing. Now, if you're sharing that story and if you're not addicted with your likes and comments, then it is going to get you more work. Your visibility. As a sports person, you might agree that visibility is something very important.
Especially if you're relying on, because again, sports it is still, you need resources, right? And sometimes you have to become a circus monkey, you know. So that is something which you have to do. You can be a gorilla outside, but this is a circus. The world is a stage. We are all. Then you have to be the circus monkey, and you have to do. That's what I tell people. Like, yeah, I'm going to the circus to perform, guys. Sorry, but that's what it is, and you have to accept it. Kya che to che hai yaar. Or stop doing what you're doing and do whatever else you have to do.
Absolutely. So you have to balance it.
Yeah.
So using internet to study better, get to know about your career, get to know more about the sports, what's happening in US, what's happening in Australia, what's happening in Denmark, what's happening in Holland, all those things. Wherever, if you want to go into soccer, maybe you watch Brazil, you watch the best teams.
You need to see, again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. In pursuit of excellence, or if you want to pursue excellence, how can we excellence if we keep celebrating mediocrity? It's fundamentally, that's what I feel is necessary.
So now moving on to your ice skating part. You moved to Denmark.
Yeah.
And then you started studying there.
Yeah.
You took a loan, and I'm sure education in foreign.
Families, again, બધું રેઝિસ્ટન્સ હતું ઘરે કે ભાઈ નથી જવું કેમ જવું છે પણ તો એટ ધ સેમ ટાઈમ ઓલ્સો સપોર્ટિંગ કે ના જવું છે ચલો લેટ્સ ડુ ધ પેપર ઇટ્સ લાઈક ડિસાઇડ કરી લો તમારે શું કરવું છે બટ બીકોઝ અગેન દેટ વોઝ માય ચોઇસ ને સો ઇટ વોઝ ફંડામેન્ટલી વેન આઈ સ્ટાર્ટેડ સ્કેટિંગ ઓલ્સો ઇટ વોઝ ધ સેમ કે ભાઈ યુ હેવ ટુ ફિગર ઇટ આઉટ એટલે અગેન આઈ વોઝ અલાઉડ તો ના કહેવાય બટ દેર વોઝ એન ઇનફ એન્વાયરમેન્ટ એટ હોમ કે ભાઈ you can do what you're doing. So for which I would say, I think unconsciously or consciously, the household has always been like that. But I had to come home at 11 for a long time. So I still, my mother, if I'm in Ahmedabad, she will call 11 વાગે આજે ઘરે ક્યાં છો એમ, બહાર રખડવાનું નથી.
Yeah, the mothers would always think that yaar abroad gayo છે, he might get distracted.
Distraction તો થવાના છે જ. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Part of the life.
Yeah, so distraction would happen, people, friends, new habits.
Again, goals were clear, a just cause was clear. So for me, it was always like I actively, and luckily people around me also knew. Like distraction, મારે કેવું છે કે once you are very serious about your goals, the people around you also get in line, you know. So that also helped me a lot.
Yeah, so yeah, when you know your goal, you share it to the people around you, and then they kind of get in and help you, your friends, your new connects, everyone. Because sometimes what happens is your friends do not know your goal. કે ભાઈ આને આ કરવું છે, આને આ બી કરવું છે, આને આ બી કરવું છે, આને આ બી કરવું છે. So then it becomes a little different. So now, when was that from Denmark you moved to Holland?
So what happened, I was in Scandinavia, બરાબર, અને ત્યાં I had figuring out, because મારે છે ને, the idea was to get to the Netherlands, because Netherlandsમાં કેવું છે કે the long track speed skating જે હું કરું છું, it is as big as cricket in India, you know. So then I was like, yeah, if I have to survive in this sport, I need to find people who understand the sport off the ice and on the ice. So we're going to need everybody who can help.
Right.
And I knew કે resources તો છે જ નહીં આપણી પાસે. So we have to optimize what we get, be it people, be it you know, things or whatever, equipment, બધું જ. So Scandinavia હું skating તો કરતો હતો, Scandinavian sports was very popular, winter sports very popular, but ice skating મારે જે કરવું હતું ને, it was not that big yet. But there were rinks, you can go and skate on them, race on them. So I participated in a race in Gothenburg in Sweden. One of my first times on the ice was a race, because I had just come back from the World Championships for inline skating. Like, champion છે આપણે તો, I mean, મજા આવી જશે. અને I went and I got disqualified. અને like, oh, okay, આપણે એટલા બી ચેમ્પિયન તો નથી, થોડું અલગ સ્પોર્ટ છે આ, થોડું અલગ લાગી રહ્યું છે આજે. And then the Swedish coach helped me. And then પછી that was the first and last time I got disqualified. એના પછી કોઈ દિવસ disqualified થયો નથી હું. પણ ત્યારે I realized કે yeah, this is going to be interesting challenge, because there's the cold, the technique, because ice skating is very technical, very very technical, because in roller skating, inline skating there is multiple point of contacts on the ground. And ice skating there is only one blade. You have to be precise, optimal pushes. That is only going to make you propel you forward. That is it. You know, so that was one of those things which I had to kind of just get used to it and know. And then so then one thing led to another, and we kept on pushing.
But how did you meet your coach?
Sorry, I'm getting there. After that race in Sweden, there was a Dutch journalist called Manik Koolhaas. We reached out, and ત્યારે Yahoo groups ચાલતા હતા. When I talk about it, ત્યારે wow, evolution of life also. તમે નોકિયાનો પેલો નાનો ફોન હતો મારી સાથે, એના પર SMS રમવું પડતું હતું મારે. અને યાહુ ગ્રુપ્સ ચાલતા હતા. તો યાહુ ગ્રુપ્સમાં મને કોઈએ લિંક મોકલી, મને કે આ અહીંયા તમે જ છો ને આ તો. એટલે મેં કીધું કે હા તો હું જ છું. એટલે they were discussing Indian ice skater in Scandinavia. એમ પછી મેં લિંક પર રિપ્લાય કર્યું, મેં કીધું હું જ છું, ઇટ્સ મી. કોણ છે આ ભાઈ? એટલે મને પછી મેં ભાઈ કીધું કે હું તો માણેક કોલાસ છું, હું આઈસ સ્કેટિંગનો હિસ્ટોરિયન છું, આટલો મોટો જર્નલિસ્ટ છું નેધરલેન્ડ્સમાં. મેં કીધું કે કેન યુ હેલ્પ મી? તો કે શું થયું? તો કે આઈ એમ લુકિંગ ફોર અ કોચ દેર, કેન યુ? તો કે હું કરું છું ને સ્ટોરી. સો હી ડીડ અ સ્ટોરી અબાઉટ મી ઇન હિઝ મેગેઝીન. ત્યાંની જે મોટા મોટી મેગેઝીન છે કે ઇન્ડિયન આઈસ સ્કેટર ઇન સ્કેન્ડિનેવિયા વિથ એન ઓલિમ્પિક ડ્રીમ, ડોન્ટ યુ થિંક વી શુડ હેલ્પ હિમ એઝ અ ડચ સોસાયટી, આઈ મીન ડચ કન્ટ્રી, કે ભાઈ આપણે ત્યાં સ્પોર્ટ છે. સિમ્પલ એઝ ટુ ગીવ યુ એન એક્ઝામ્પલ, કે અહીંયા ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયાથી કોઈ ક્રિકેટર આવે છે અને રમે છે ગુજરાતમાં, બરાબર? તો આપણે વી વિલ હેલ્પ હિમ વી ફાઇન્ડ આઉટ કે ના બોસ, લેટ્સ ઓપન આર ડોર્સ. તો એક્ઝેક્ટલી ધ સેમ વે પીપલ ઓપન ધેર ડોર્સ, ઓપન ધેર હોમ્સ ફોર મી ટુ કમ સ્ટે વિથ ધેમ. એન્ડ અગેન for them also it was a big an interesting cultural experience, because ideally ice speed skating on the whole is not a very diverse sport. It is for northern hemisphere people. Whenever they have somebody from a different background, they're always curious. How give it. So I got to live with all these different families, understand what they are doing, how they're doing, understand the culture. And so after that article was published, Wim and a couple of other coaches reverted back on their that story. And then Wim said Manik said ke Vish, there are these couple of coaches, but I think Vim is somebody you should go to. I'm like, why? Okay, he's the most hardest coach. Training program, most difficult. Very few people can deal with it. So me, the toughest program out there. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Like, what do you mean you didn't think too much? Like, I've trained with the most badass coach in the world, my father. So this is sort of let's see. I don't think he can be more worse than that or more harder than that. Okay, I was like, does he use a stick or a belt? Like what do you mean? And they was a bit in shock. No. Like, तो चल से चलो आई जाओ. We will deal with it. तो कहीं वांधो नहीं. ट्रेनिंग का વધારે कराओ से ना चलने. It's fine. ये तो we are used to that because my father's training program overall is a tough one. We like at the time at least it was really really tough. One of the most challenging training programs out there. So yeah, and then we started. We exchanged numbers, and then we called each other. And the first conversation I had with Vim was, Vim said, Vish, if you're crazy enough to come all the way from India to do my sport, I'm crazy enough to coach you. And let's begin. And then we start. Obviously, then I packed my bag again, got on a train, went there. And he said, let's begin. And we started. And एक वो दिन था और एक ये दिन है. 74 national records for India. He's so passionate about our country. Over 300 races for India. Like statistically also મારો mind boggle થઈ કે આટલી રેસો ક્યારે થઈ ગઈ? હજી તો હું શીખી રહ્યો છું. અને આટલા ઇન્ટરનેશનલ મેડલ, હું ક્લબ મેડલ્સ નથી ગણતો. લોકલ ક્લબ મેડલ્સ આવે તો બધા હું ગણતો જ નથી. ટ્રોફીઝ બધું ગણતો જ નથી. આઈ એમ જસ્ટ ટોકિંગ અબાઉટ ઇન્ટરનેશનલ મેડલ્સ વેર લોટ ઓફ કન્ટ્રીઝ પાર્ટિસિપેટ. 2 એશિયન ગેમ્સ ઓવર અ સ્પેન ઓફ એશિયન ગેમ્સ ઓલ્સો કેવું થયું હતું કે 2017માં એશિયન ગેમ થઈ હતી, પછી કોવિડ થઈ ગયું. સો વી કુડ નોટ ડુ ધ એશિયન ગેમ્સ. અને પછી 2025માં બીજી એશિયન ગેમ થઈ હમણાં 7-8 વર્ષ પછી. અને ટુ maintain your body shape for such a long time, it is a challenge. And in the meantime, everything you can think about which could have gone wrong has gone wrong twice, not once but twice. So, and we are still standing. And maru improvement last 2017 Asian game maru performance ma bhi improvement thayu છે.
But ever jare where things were not right, what was the kind of conversation between you and Vim and you and your father, who was your coach earlier? What kind of conversation you would have?
With my father, it was usually like, what's next? I mean, solution-driven thinking. As a father or as a coach, his job has always been a mixture of both, which I feel was not necessary. Now, because I'm a father, I can tell, but what happens is, with Vim, it was also solution-driven because he was a little bit disconnected from the emotional aspect of it. He looks at me as an athlete, and my father's input came emotional only. You're injured, be careful. And I'm like, Dad, you didn't tell me this to that other kid which was in your academy. Because I remember clearly how he treated me and the others, and I'm like, Dad, you're not treating me like that. So I think that's when he became a father than a coach. And with Vim, it was also, he was so passionate about what we were up to, and I was showing up, and I was like improving like crazy. I think it was more both of them. I think has one of the things I've seen is they both have solution-driven thinking and solution-driven inputs, which is helpful a lot of times.
What about the finances? How did you manage
Financial
your
to khotu jato. I mean, there's no, I cannot, begin where the finances were coming from and how we were managing. We're just managing hand to mouth. And I used to sleep on a friend's couch for almost 3-4 years just to save on rent so that I can pay for the training programs and using of the facilities and all of that. So let's just, from now on, we just agree that finances hata nahi. Whatever we were doing, it was just a miracle that I haven't survived so far. એટલે કેવી રીતે કર્યું તો મને બી નથી ખબર કે થઈ ગયું બસ થઈ ગયું. It illogically saying this should not have happened. It was just the sheer fanatism from me and my coach Vim that we decided we want to do this, and we figured it out. હજી બી ફિગર આઉટ કરી રહ્યા છે, પણ this is not supposed to happen ideally, because long track speed skating is a elite sport. Elite sport એટલે શું કે Winter Olympics જ્યારે ચાલુ થઈ, it has been a part of that Winter Olympics since the beginning of the Winter Olympics. It is, you can compare it to the athletics, not field and track, but just athletics. When was the last time India performed well on a 100-meter running race or a 200-meter running race, reached the finals, at the Olympics? right? Milkha Singh ji pachi. Amna, there are some very wonderful runners coming up, but it's still too difficult. Similarly, speed skating is like that. It is the athletics of ice skating. Qualify થવું જ ચાલે તમે સર્વાઈવ કરી લીધું બરાબર પછી ક્વોલિફાય ક્યાંથી થશો અને એની માટે ધ અમાઉન્ટ ઓફ રિસોર્સિસ પહેલાં તો ફંડામેન્ટલી ઇન્ડિયામાં આપણી પાસે ટ્રેક જ નથી ફિલ્ડ ઓફ પ્લે જ નથી પછી યુ ગેધર ઓલ ઓફ ધીસ થિંગ એન્ડ યુ દેર ડુઈંગ ઇટ સો એટલે ફંડામેન્ટલી રિસોર્સિસ મિનિમમથી બી ઓછા હતા લેટ્સ જસ્ટ સે દેટ સિચ્યુએશન નોટ આઈડલ બટ લેટ્સ સો આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ જસ્ટ ગેટ દેટ આઉટ ઓફ ધ વે કે ના આ છે જ નહીં ફોરગેટ અબાઉટ ઇટ પછી but still we moved on from that and we figured it out and we are figuring out still and yeah.
So when you have big goals, things happen.
No, when you have big goals you have to figure out how. Nobody's going to help you. Koi help karo aayu natu. You have to make those 200 calls.
So you have to go work out, you have to figure it out, you have to work towards it.
It's constantly figuring it out, you know. It's constantly back and back and back, constantly figuring it out. So,
but you can say that there will be some supernatural thing which has helped you, or when you
just this sheer will to perform, the sheer will for the pursuit of excellence in this case, and there was no going back. Also, you know, somebody asked me the other day, Vishwaraj, what was the plan B? Or did you think about a plan B? Now I am. After so many years, but at the time I don't think there was ever, you know, there was never a plan B. Otherwise there was always an escapism. You're looking for it, and I'm like, no, this is it.
But probably there is, in terms of plan A and plan B, if you put your 100% resources in plan A, when you're all in,
you're all in. Plan B
let's do it. And at the same point of time, for an example, when you have already 10 rupees, you will put the entire money on your plan A rather than saying that, no, I'll keep my 3 rupees for plan B.
એટલે જે પ્લાન છે એ બી બરાબર ના થાય ને પછી
જે રિસોર્સિસ છે બધા એક જ વસ્તુ પર લગાવી દો
એટલે અલોંગ ધ વે મેં લોકો બી એવા ગેધર કર્યા હતા વિથ અ વિઝન કે ભાઈ આ માણસ મને સમજે છે એટલે ફ્યુચર મારે કામ કરવાનું છે હું કરીશ કશું બી તો અમારે આ માણસ અને આ માણસ જોઈશે જ આઈ વિલ નીડ ધેમ ઇન માય લાઈફ સો દેટ દે નો ધ જર્ની એટલે આઈ ટેક ધેમ અલોંગ વિથ ધ જર્ની કે ભાઈ ચલો ને એ લોકો હજી બી છે આપણી સાથે યુ નો so those kind of things are very important, which I also learned from him, so, or my grandfather actually, and so those are the things which are also important to understand. I understood that along the મને કોઈ કીધું નહોતું and I think that has been the biggest learning of my life also.
બરાબર.
For any athlete's life, if you say, tell them કે ભાઈ what is the journey of pursuing and figuring this out.
Right. Now again moving with Coach Vim, what was that relationship between you and him? How did he understood that you have that kind of potential? First thing, he was convinced that if you're crazy enough to come to play my sport, I'm going to help you. But then for a coach to understand કે इसमें वो बात है કે આ માણસમાં આ વસ્તુ છે ત્યારે એનું 200% આપે જેમ સરે કીધું આપણે સરે જે વાત કરી હતી એની વાતમાં કે
you see the similarities between the both coaches. Both of them are fanatic about their sport. Vim is fanatic about his sport. He is fanatic about his sport. Vim has made world champions and Olympic champions in his sport. He has made some of the biggest champions in his sport in the country.
Right.
Again, the reason international thayun because the sport is like this. And again, infrastructure and all of the ads. And he's been in the sport for 50 years now. He has been equally so long.
So he said, when did he realize that he has something in him?
I think ये मने directly coach नहीं कहना है. Coach's job is to criticize you, but maybe. I found out later. Like we had a what do you say? Press meet before we were leaving for the Asian Games in 2017, and this journalist asked him that, hey Vim, Vish must be Europe. They cannot say Vishwaraj properly yet, so they say Vish. Okay, Vish. Sorry, Vim. Vish must be incredibly talented, ne? You're supporting him for such a long time, a coach like you. And Vim goes direct as a Dutch directness. No, he's not talented. And I understand the language by now. I'm like, this is interesting. What do you mean? And the journalist goes like, what do you mean? And Vim says, yeah, well, he does not give up. If somebody does not give up, I can make him a champion. and we are still working on it. That was his answer. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what he said. You know,
So your trait of not giving up,
has helped a lot.
your resilience, your
Yeah.
strength, you're coming from a background where giving up is not an option.
Not an option. No.
And even for the Rajput community,
Yeah.
giving up is not an option, it is in your blood.
Exactly. That's what he also did his research about Rajputs, and they're like, yeah, he's a Rajput, you know. They don't give up easily.
Right.
So I think that way I would say the European-Indian relationships have improved a lot because of wherever I've been. I'm like talking about the culture and how everybody I've met along the way on my journey. Either they were motivated and convinced to go visit India because of they've met me, or they have already visited India and they wanted to know more about it. So this is something which also helps as a athlete, soft power JKY. You know, you're there, you're making an impact on people's lives positively with your culture and your experiences. I think this is something which also was very interesting to see
Right.
and experience.
Right. Now, we'll go on your further journey ahead
Yeah.
on that. You had couple of crashes where you had
Enough
to
crashes. Enough crashes. Let's say enough crashes.
When was your last crash?
10 days ago.
How did it happen? Maybe.
I was doing a marathon. It was a 50-round race on a 400-meter oval, and I was in the front group. A good pace, good pace. I was very confident, like, boss, maja aa gayi. And because a week before that, I had finished 4th. So the confidence level was high up. Okay, yes, this is it. So I was there, and I was in the front group, and we were creating a distance between us and the group behind us, and it was a high-paced race. And at some point, I don't know, I caught somebody's blade or something on my leg, and I just fell at 50 kilometers per hour. And then I got up and I'm like, oh, that was hard. And then obviously at that pace, you just lose the whole group. And because of the crosswinds that day, wind -2 or 2, they say, I could not finish the race. But those 25 laps were good laps. I was fast and I could compete. So that was very helpful.
Right. So how do you handle, as you said earlier, you know how to fall?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I was like, okay, I kind of know how to fall, and over the years, I've also seen that I'm good at falling. I'm not afraid of falling that much.
The fear of falling has
Gone.
reduced.
I mean, figuratively talking and literally also.
Over here, the biggest challenge in our society is that people are scared of falling.
Yeah. Figuratively and literally.
Yes. Scared of falling in terms of the father padi na jato.
But I think it changed. I have a feeling that it has changed, but I see where you come from, because again, these are all young parents who have fallen a lot and have gotten up. So they want the best for their kids also. My friends, kids, they also are like, guys, do you remember how we were brought up? Kitla ekdam rough tha apne. So I mean, again, so we are the spoiled. We are not the spoiled, but our generation is going to be the spoiled generation, because we will probably, spoil them a lot.
When did you first go to Ladakh?
So 2017, it was a pre-Olympic year in 2018, and obviously that year I was pushing a bit too much, because I knew that I need to perform on the ice and I need to kind of really be at it. And I was looking for sponsors, so I had to perform on the ice to prove to the sponsors that I'm worth it. And we were pursuing the government to support and all of that. At some point, you're anyways living on the edge as an athlete. And you push a bit too much, you fall. So I had a couple of falls, not one, 2, 3, 4 falls. And eventually I could not walk that winter. I mean, that couple of months properly. And then I was like, what do I do now? Obviously, it was clear that I'm not going to make it. And then one of my friends is a musician there. I'm very close to the music community there in the city, in Utrecht. So one of my very dear friends, Casper, he said, Vish, you need to go to the Himalayas to find yourself. Do you guys have the Himalayas, right? You need to go to the Himalayas to find yourself and realign. I said, okay, cool. And he said that, and then I left. A couple of weeks later, I started to put a plan together. Called my friend Ravi. He was at a wedding. He's a photographer and a videographer. So I said, Ravi, how about I'm going to do this? And I was like, okay, me and my wife will come. Like, what? Okay, cool. I expected him to say something else, but no, he said, we're coming. I was like, all right. So I basically found some sponsors for it for some reason. That was the first time I started to really get sponsors to support all these crazy trips. And the next thing I knew, we were on frozen Pangongso Lake with Ravi screaming at me because it was so cold, but also doing an amazing job of capturing that trip. And I doubt we've been able to capture a trip like that again so well. Because it was all raw, unplanned, so we could capture the emotion of the place and how I felt. So the first time standing on ice on Pangongso in India was an emotional moment. And that's when I realized I need to start spending a lot more time in the Himalayas in India to kind of make sure I'm grounded here again more and more, and keep pursuing what I do.
So kind of you found a home ground.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of found a home in home again, you know. So, and yeah, Ladakh people understand what I do because ice skating and ice hockey is huge over there. There's around 10,000 ice hockey players and they are doing an amazing job. The Indian Army is doing an amazing job at playing ice hockey there. So, yeah, you can see there's at the Nationals, the stadium is full. 10,000 people come to watch ice hockey. It's incredible.
Right. So over there in the mountains, it's cold, it's tough weather, it's like sometimes it goes absolutely freezing.
Sometimes in winter month it's minus 30. Freezing है जहाँ बद्दू freeze થઈ ગયું है. Everything's frozen.
Everything is frozen.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult life.
Yeah.
So in difficult life, so as it said, difficult times bring strong people.
Yeah.
So difficult weather and everything,
Yeah.
they bring in very strong people.
Yeah.
And they're willing to face all the challenges
There's
head
a
on.
civilization up there in minus 20, minus 30 degrees, you know. So we need to learn a lot from them.
Right. So how's the culture there? Overall, culturally, how different is Ladakh from Ahmedabad?
Of course it is. I mean, in India,
And
we have
Holland.
such a big diversity, you know. So, but fundamentally, because you're an athlete, they understand sports in Ladakh a little bit. So for me to understand them and them to understand me was not that difficult. It was fine. क्या ice skating करना है? चलो ये है lake, हम आपको साफ कर देते हैं, आप करो skating. That was it. And I obviously get along well with people in Ladakh, and they respect me a lot, which is also very interesting to see. And I respect obviously them a lot, and that ice hockey culture there was so fascinating to see within our country. I'm hoping we are able to bring it to the next level, obviously introduce it to the whole country, and that should be our next job and next
And did once you started going there, did people also take up skating, ice speed
speed skating? Yeah, I think what happened over the years, because you're at it for a long time. So I've been at it at the whole speed skating thing for a long time. So I've been getting messages from kids and people that I started to ice skate because of you, or I want to pursue this because I've seen what you're doing. And in the Netherlands, I mean, because ice skating on nature is big over there. They've been wanting to come, and luckily last year I had some friends who I knew for a while. They came to India to go ice skating in Ladakh, and that was a fascinating journey and story. So, yeah.
Right. Now, how different it is skating on a lake and in the
Arena.
controlled end.
Yeah, so I think skating outside is obviously because of the natural elements, the factors of the weather and the wind and the rain, and skating inside is obviously all controlled. So there are different set of challenges. So outside you need to be layered up properly, not get too cold. You will get cold, not get too cold. And inside you can be more optimal. So ice skating inside is more optimal, and outside is just making you hard, you know, skating in that 20 degree, minus 10 degrees. We did the marathon in mid-January, where we went to China just as a precursor to the Asian Games. And yeah, I finished, 7th at the Asian Championship Marathon, which was fun to do. And I was happy that I could finish so high.
Right. Now, does the academy kids go to Ladakh often?
They have been, like, since this year we've started to get the academy kids from my father's academy to go ice skating in Ladakh, just to get the feel of it, and yeah, get them to understand the whole situation. So they're getting there. They're up for it.
Right. There's a lot of things going on because now Ladakh is a union territory.
Yeah.
And now political situation has changed,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of noise around the environmental problems.
Yeah.
The famous man Sonam Wangchuk, who is, we know him because Three Idiots was made out
Yeah,
of it
yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
those things.
Yeah.
But he's raising a lot of important
No,
noise.
but he's been raising those questions for a long time. And obviously, environmental impact on winter sports is there. There's no doubt about it. We can see it, right? We can definitely see it. Also, in the Netherlands, the temperature has risen up because we usually used to have like a good winter where these canals would freeze, and there used to be like races, 100-kilometer race happening, the 11 cities tour traditionally, which would happen on these frozen canals, which connect the cities in in the Netherlands. So that was something which happened, and obviously Mr. Wanchuk is doing what he's doing because he's worried about the Himalayas, which is absolutely necessary and fundamental. And it is going to affect our way of life, our way of into sports in the way we are. So we have to make our peace with it and try to find a way where we can still sustain what we are doing.
Right. I'd heard, seen some documentaries of Ladakh's winter sport and what's happening there. Sometimes last moment changes,
Of
and
course.
then there is some content creator who keeps on talking about winter sports. I don't remember his name, but very interesting videos. We can find some and also put in our links.
Yeah.
But do you think there is enough support in Ladakh for winter sports?
That's for them to figure out, or that's for them to comment on. I do not know enough about it. But obviously, as Indian athletes, we always feel there's never enough support. So I think I would always say, and I'm always on the side of the athletes. So there's always room for more and better. So I hope, they're doing their thing.
And India is a land of huge numbers. We have a lot of
sports
things.
is sometimes not our priority. We have a lot of other issues in our country. So,
Okay.
But
don't you think if sports is equally kept as a priority, then the health and strong people...
Maybe in the next 30 years, I'm hoping that comes, because right now there's a big imparity between how the country is developing, and sports just for our country cannot be a priority yet, because we have other issues in the country which
I hope everything is optimized in the best way, and
we can only I think that's what we can do. We can only hope that we are able to close this gap with the rest of the world in terms of being able to offer everybody who's doing sports equal opportunity and a proper foundation to kind of keep pursuing what they do.
So now what's the advice for the kids who want to go for ice skating? Because I've overheard you talking to the kids when I came to the skating ring, where you said that overall development of the person as a sports person needs to happen.
Exactly. I think what I've understood is, like, up till a certain age, you should be able to be exposed to all different sports, right? And a sound mind is a sound body is a sound mind, right? So I feel that the kids should keep themselves active, which will help them to be fit. And eventually, if they are fit enough, they can make a choice to pursue it more seriously and then get somewhere. So instead of just getting up one day, I want to be a champion. No, but that cannot happen overnight. It is a process, a long process where you have to go over and repeat yourself over and over again and keep at it.
Now Ahmedabad has a lot of facilities.
Definitely.
Earlier there were very limited spaces where sports or things were there. But in Ahmedabad, luckily, if we go back, way back, we had St. Xavier's Loyola as a place where all the people in Ahmedabad could go there and do different sports. Then we had CN School, which was the space where you had all the facilities, whether it is athletics or anything. There was there. That was a very different culture. So if we go back then, so what was the psychology different in the schools like Loyola and CN Vidyalaya, where sports were given equal importance because they had that? Probably international schools now and the sports oriented schools then, what was the kind of difference, and what do you think that the sports centered approach in the schooling will help કે શું આપણે જે સ્પોર્ટ્સ ઓરિએન્ટેડ અપ્રોચ જે સ્કૂલ્સનો છે એ શું હેલ્પ કરશે સ્પોર્ટ્સ પ્રમોટ કરવામાં?
આપણે ત્યાં પેરેન્ટ્સોનું પ્રેશર સ્કૂલો પર બી બહુ હોય કે એમની ચોઇસ અને લાઇકિંગ ડિસલાઇકિંગને સ્કૂલે એને પ્રેફરન્સ આપવો પડે. છતાં પણ આજે એકલવ્ય સ્પોર્ટ્સ એકેડમી છે, ત્યાં ઘણી અમુક સ્કૂલોના છોકરાઓ જાય છે રેગ્યુલર કોચિંગ માટે. એમનો અલગ અલગ ટાઈમિંગ છે દિવસના ટાઈમે. સ્પોર્ટ્સ ઓરિએન્ટેડ સ્કૂલો જેવું હવે કંઈ ખાસ એવું રહ્યું નથી. છતાં પણ સ્પોર્ટ્સની પ્રાયોરિટી ઝેવિયર્સ જેવી સ્કૂલ છે કે જે સ્પોર્ટ્સ ઓરિએન્ટેડ સ્કૂલ છે ત્યાં છે. હવે જે સ્પોર્ટ્સના ડેવલપમેન્ટમાં 3 મુખ્ય આધાર છે. એક, પેરેન્ટ્સ પહેલી ભૂલ કરે, એને હું ભૂલ કહું ઘણીવાર, કે જેને સ્પોર્ટ્સમાં નજીકના સેન્ટર પર ક્યાંક મૂક્યો એણે, ત્યાં ઓલા કોચે એને બે ભેગા થઈને કંઈક કર્યું એટલે છોકરો થોડો આગળ ગયો. ત્યાંથી કોચ થોડો વધારે મહેનત કરે, ડિસ્ટ્રિક્ટ લેવલ સુધી રમવા જાય, પછી સ્કૂલનો રોલ આવે. જે રોલ પેરેન્ટ્સને કોચે કર્યો સ્કૂલો હજુ નથી કરતી કે ભાઈ એને ઇનફ ફ્રીડમ આપો. જે કંઈ બી સ્પોર્ટ્સ કરે છે એ પોતાના રિસ્ક ઉપર કરે છે, પોતાના સ્ટડીના કોસ્ટ ઉપર કરે છે. પણ સ્કૂલોનો એટલો બધો પ્રેશર હોય છે પેરેન્ટ્સ બાળકો પર, આમ રજા ના આપીએ ને તેમ રજા ના આપીએ. ભાઈ એ તમે આપો કે ના આપો, એ જે કરે છે એના કોસ્ટ પર કરે છે, તમારો કોઈ રોલ જ નથી. તમે એને સ્ટડી કરાવો, ઉપરથી એને ફેસિલિટી આપો, એક્સ્ટ્રા સ્ટડી કરો કે એને જે બી કરવાનું એ તમારો રોલ છે. જ્યાં સુધી પેરેન્ટ્સ અને કોચના રોલ સિવાય સ્કૂલોનો રોલ પૂરો થાય તો જ એક સારા એથ્લેટ પેદા થાય કોઈ પણ સ્પોર્ટ્સના. પછી આવે ગવર્મેન્ટ. તો આજે ગુજરાત ગવર્મેન્ટમાં સ્પોર્ટ્સ ઓથોરિટી ઓફ ગુજરાતની ઘણી બધી સારી સ્કીમો છે કે જેમાં એક વિશ્વરાજ શક્તિદૂત છે, સેન્ટર ઓફ એક્સેલન્સી છે, એવું ઘણું બધું થઈ રહ્યું છે. ઘણા બધા સ્પોર્ટ્સ સેન્ટર ઊભા કર્યા સરકારે. પણ મેઇન વસ્તુ છે સ્કૂલોનો રોલ જ્યાં સુધી પોઝિટિવ એક્સ્ટ્રીમ લેવલે નહીં આવે. ભાઈ એક બાળક રમવા જાય છે તો તમે એને પાસ થોડા કરી દેવાના છો, એને ભણવી પડશે, એક્ઝામ આપવી પડશે. હા,
So probably school has to come up with that approach that sports is also the priority.
મેઇન પ્રાયોરિટી થવી જોઈએ તો જ તમારું થાય.
ખાલી ભણવાને નહીં,
ભણવાને નહીં.
on not just education, also sports, and sports is leading towards development, and then probably there is a lot of infrastructure coming in. So Sanskar Dham is there, Eklavya Sports Academy is there. There are a lot of development now we have in Ahmedabad. But now it's the school's approach that please do sports equally, because at a lot of times, is he going to go in Olympics? Some very simple question. So ઇન્ડિયાની અંદર ક્રિકેટ ટીમમાં રમવાનો છે તો ક્રિકેટ રમવા માટે ટાઈમ આપવાનો. સો
એટલે આ કોન્સેપ્ટ છે ને આપણે ખાસ કરીને ગુજરાતમાં કે આખા ઇન્ડિયાનો વાત કરો, એ ફક્ત એચિવમેન્ટમાં જ હોય. ભાઈ એની હેલ્થનું જે બેનિફિટ છે એ એટલો બધો છે કે જે તમે કરોડો રૂપિયા ખર્ચા કરશો એ નહીં આપી શકે. સારો હ્યુમન બિંગ બનવો હશે તો સ્પોર્ટ્સમેન હોવો જોઈએ.
Right. So yeah, we had earlier the sports person from cricket coming in on our show, and also we're talking a lot of things on fitness and how the play in the child's life is very important. So with this podcast, of course, we're going to talk further on this. Now, what is your advice for the kids? How to balance education and sports?
એ દરેક પેરેન્ટ્સને બાળકે જાતે કરવું પડે. બરાબર, કે તમારે એને કેવી રીતે ટાઈમ પ્રાયોરિટી કરવી. એના માટે તમે જેમ જેમ સ્પોર્ટ્સમેન થતો જાય ને છોકરો કે કોઈ પણ વિદ્યાર્થી, એટલે રિસ્પોન્સિબિલિટી ભેગી આવે જ. એની સાથે થોડું ડિસિપ્લિન રાખવું પડે કે ભાઈ તું આ નહીં કરતો, આ નહીં થાય.
રાઈટ.
ચેક એન્ડ મેટ રાખો એટલે થાય. એટલી તમારા સ્કેટિંગમાં તો કોન્સન્ટ્રેશનની ગેમ છે, એટલે મોટાભાગના છોકરાઓ બહુ ફર્સ્ટ ક્લાસથી નીચે કોઈ હોતો જ નથી, ડિસ્ટિંક્શન લેવલના જ બધા હોય છે.
રાઈટ.
હા, પણ એના માટે બાળકોને ગ્રાઉન્ડમાં મોકલો, આખી પ્રાયોરિટી બદલવી પડે. સ્કૂલોમાં ઇવન હું જેવીએસમાં બી કહું કે ઘણી જગ્યાએ સ્કૂલોમાં કહું કે સ્પોર્ટ્સમેન પેરેન્ટ્સને શું જોઈએ? માર્ક. એ સ્કૂલ ટીમમાં આવે એટલે અમુક માર્ક આપો, ઇફ યુ પ્લે ફોર ધ ડિસ્ટ્રિક્ટ અમુક આપો, સ્ટેટ એટલે અમુક આપો, તો સર ગ્રાઉન્ડો ભરાઈ જાય.
Right. Now, moving ahead with this, I'll take your concluding.
ચાઇનાએ આ કર્યું એટલે ચાઇના આજે અહીં પહોંચ્યું.
Okay, so China has the role model of China needs to be also implemented here in India, where
તમે માસ કરો, માસ રમાડો એટલે બહાર આવે ક્વોલિટી.
So they have introduced sports. Of course, they're too focused on terms of making money, building factories, making products. But
sports में भी वो approach है, no? Make a factory of sports people. I jao.
I
I've just seen it because I was just in China for 3 weeks.
How was the
It
experience?
was incredible. It was incredible to see a civilization thrive at -30 up there in Harbin, So, and it was a lot of learnings also, a lot of inspiring things happening. That's all.
Represented in 250 plus races.
Yeah.
Or more. Maybe.
Yeah, that is more now, but we stopped counting after.
Right. And you have multiple national records,
Yes.
over 70, 80.
75.
Yeah, 75
74.
national records. Now what's next?
So next is I've just finished the Asian Winter Games, and beyond that I want to give back. So set up an academy and develop the next generation of ice skaters in India.
Right. What are the ice skating facilities in India currently?
So one of them is one of my friend Karan, he has one ice skate in Gurgaon where they have the only ice skating rink which runs 12 months a year. And it was one of the oldest ones. It's been there since 2011. I don't know how he manages to keep it running, but he's been keeping it running because he's passionate about it. Another one is in Dehradun, where our president where the association was also involved in developing it and reopening it. And then obviously the naturally aspirated ice skating rinks in Ladakh and Kargil and Himachal Pradesh. So all these places are there already where they're being used, and obviously now what happens is, as I said, the administration is asking the right questions. So Mr. Amitabh Sharma, we're very fortunate that he's also the vice president at the Asian Skating Union. He's also at the IOA, Indian Olympic Association, and he's the president of the Ice Skating Association in India. He's also asking the right questions. So I think because we've been asking I see a very good future, bright future for the country's winter sports, especially the ice skating aspect of it. And hopefully, and obviously the ice hockey guys are also doing their best. So I think together, all of these things I see, okay, I'm going to try and make my impact on this as much as possible so that what I have gone through, the next generation does not have to go through.
Right. Now, what are the challenges as a sports person in raising funds for going towards international
Yeah,
games?
the biggest challenge is communication. How do you communicate what you want to do and how you want to achieve it? You know it in your mind, you have a plan, but having a plan and wanting to do that and communicating it to a potential sponsor or potential administrator is another thing altogether. So I think that is the biggest challenge. As athletes, we forget to learn how to communicate, but we just know how to use our body to go fast and train fast and skate harder,
Right. So more further, how was your experience at China? And 2017 was
Japan.
And then China. You go on such a big stage.
Yeah. It was nerve-wracking, I think at these big events, I've skated the worst because you're under a lot of pressure. Even though you think there's no pressure, but it is a big stage. You have everybody there. So it becomes a bit of a stressful situation, and you sometimes perform, sometimes you crumble, but most of the time you get out of it like you on top. This year it was really special in China because we got to field a team pursuit team and a team sprint team, which is very unique. There were more than 11 countries participating at the Asian Winter Games, and there were very few of them who could actually field a team for team pursuit and team sprint. So that's something great which we could achieve, and it was our national record also.
Okay. So what kind of preparation you're going through for your next big goal?
So obviously the basic training which happens, intensive dry land training, intensive summer training, where we do a lot of cycling, a lot of running. All of it goes towards optimizing your body and doing a lot of power trainings, plyometrics, training on different surfaces, sand, concrete, asphalt. So yeah, and then you build on that from there.
You have so many people to cheer you and at the skating rink, because there are a lot of people who aspire to
Indeed,
be...
I was surprised about how many people are aspired to do this, and I'm like, are you sure? Like, yeah, it's going to be painful. Like, no, sir, we'll be fine. I'm like, okay.
So when you started, who was your inspiration?
Ice skating, I think
Yes.
it was more, I had like an overall inspiration. Shiva Keshwan, he's a 6-time Winter Olympian for India. he was one of my inspirations. And luckily, I can call him a friend now, and I talk to him a lot about what's going on, how do I manage this sort of a thing. So he was one of them, you know. Yeah.
Right. And what apart from sports, what all you are involved in? Apart from ice skating, I would say, what all do you do?
So I go cycling, obviously. We go a lot of running, 100%. So I think mostly life revolves around sports, to be honest.
You don't get time beyond it?
Beyond it, obviously you want to do other things, but it's just challenging. So yeah.
So are your kids always saying that you don't give us time?
No,
you
no,
train,
obviously
training.
no. I'm a parent in 2025. We
Yeah.
have to be. We are mindful about what we do and what we don't do with our kids very much.
Right.
So, but obviously they don't like it when I'm traveling. So.
And did you ever regret that you always have a coach behind you? Your father having a coach,
Yeah.
so he has overdone more of coaching to you or more of being a father?
I'm trying to figure that out.
Good answer. You know the answer. And you have handled very big highs and lows in your career.
Yeah.
What's your mantra towards it?
I think you need to feel it intensively first. The highs, you need to experience them. And the lows, you also need to experience them as intensively as possible. And then, which one do you like more? The highs or the lows? So you do everything to make sure you don't go through that again. So I think there's no mantra per se, but I would say just solution-driven thinking and mindset will get you there. That's it.
Right. Because life is always highs and lows.
Yeah.
Because our heartbeats are up and down, up
Yeah.
and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And people want to just say that go up and up and up. But you
It's
need
not
to...
yeah, exactly. There's always a the more you higher you go, the more you will fall also, you know. So you go climb the Himalaya, where do you go there? Next, you go down.
Yeah. So consistently being there and handling the falls is what
Yeah.
makes you...
The way you handle your falls will decide how you will climb the next mountain, I think.
Right,
So,
right. Now we'll talk about the future of winter sports.
oh, wow. Whoa. Okay, I don't know how much I can talk about it, but
Yeah. So you have represented India at all the world stages in
Yeah.
ice skating, and
Yeah.
now where do you see India in coming 10 years?
I'm hoping that in 10 years we are able to rather get our athletes regularly at the international races, like the World Cups. And then obviously the Asian Games in 2029, Olympic Games 2030 and 34, because those are the final frontiers and that should be our goals. And we have to do everything we have at our disposal to, get there. I think the first step is to make sure we have the right infrastructure in place.
Right.
And then the right programs in place, and we bring the right people in to help us and advise us to get there. I think that is the only way, and how we go about it is going to be very crucial, and how fast we go about it is even going to be more crucial.
Right. So as you said, in Ladakh, ice hockey is way big over there. So do you see a great future?
Obviously, 100%. They just need an ice rink which can function for 12 months, and they will make sure they make it happen. So that is one of the things which I feel should be done.
It should be done.
They're doing it. Obviously, they're working on it. They have a stadium now, so they're taking the next relevant steps. It's going to take a while, but we will get there slowly and steadily. And I hope it's sooner than later. One can hope, because we are again asking the right questions.
Right. What is the role of corporates, big brands, for the future of Indian sports and in winter sports as well?
I think they need to kind of wake up and understand the seriousness of purpose of an athlete, because at some point of time, nobody's buying a product. People are buying the story behind that product. And your association and the corporate's association with athletes and their journeys and their stories help. Obviously, it might not help now, but it will help in the future. And make a bigger impact on the organization and the companies,
Right. And sir, one question to you: where do you see him in coming 10-20 years? Because now he's going to move towards in kind of your shoes.
સ્પોર્ટ્સને જ્યાં સુધી લઈ ગયો હતો ત્યાંથી આ ઘણા હાઈ સ્ટેજે લઈ જશે.
રાઈટ. અને બટ હવે કોચ તરીકે શું એડવાઇસ તમે કહેવા માંગો છો કે આ વસ્તુ કોચના માટે બહુ અગત્યની છે? એની એડવાઇઝીસ ફોર હિમ?
ના, એ ઓલરેડી મારા અને વી જેવા આવડા મોટા કોચ પાસેથી ટ્રેન થઈ ગયો છે. એટલે કોચના માટે સિમ્પલ છે, યોર ડેડિકેશન શુડ બી મોર દેન ધ સ્કેટર, આઈ મીન પ્લેયર. તો પ્લેયર બને.
વિચ ઇઝ ધેર એન્ડ વિચ ઇઝ ઓલવેઝ
આઈ એડવાઇઝ એવરી કોચ, યોર ડેડિકેશન શુડ બી મોર દેન ધ યોર પ્લેયર.
રાઈટ.
તમારે એક એક મુમેન્ટ જોવી પડે. ટેકનિકલી જે તે કે બી ગેમ હોય એ ટેકનિકલી દરેક ગેમની એના પર તમારું સતત કોન્સન્ટ્રેશન હોવું જોઈએ. બાળકો ભૂલ કરતાં 1 મિનિટ લાગે અને સાચું કરાવતા બીજા 6 મહિના થઈ જાય.
For example, what he's trying to say is the commitment of the coach should be bigger than the player. Small examples would be he sometimes cannot walk. He still shows up at the drink every day and shows up, and the kids see that and they get inspired by that. So the coaches should be the ideal mentors for the kids, અને વિમની વાત કરીએ તો વિમ was battling prostate cancer and I had qualified for the World Cups and the World Cup was in Netherlands. So I told him that Vim, you have to come because we have to go rather, and he showed up. He didn't tell me about it, but he showed up. And
He didn't say that he's suffering from
No, he didn't tell me. મને પછી મહિના રહીને ખબર પડી at one of the training sessions કે ભાઈ because he was a bit odd, એની ટ્રીટમેન્ટ ચાલી રહી હતી prostate cancer ની. That's when I realized what is going on here, So that is one of the moment I learned that okay, the commitment from the coach is more important than the commitment of the athlete at times.
Commitment of the coach is
Or the teacher or the guru,
So what were the best things you have got? You're lucky enough to get 2 good gurus around you and they're always there for you. So what's your advice to the people for finding the right guru? Because you are fortunate.
You just have to be lucky, to be honest. You just have to be lucky. I mean, and if you keep doing your hard work, you'll find the right guru. I think your hard work attracts other hardworking people. I think, yeah, that's it. And then obviously luck counts, but yeah, your hard work only inspires other hardworking people.
Right. And how's the overall Indian other Winter Olympians?
Oh, we all get along very well because we all have the same issues. So, I think right now it is all a lot on the individual athletes themselves because again, it stems from the fact that we don't have a proper organized infrastructure. So all athletes have to train outside all over the world to find the right possible scenarios to train, which they're doing, and they're getting support from their relevant organization, their associations as much as possible, realistically. So that is what we are doing. There is a plan, obviously, for ice skating. I can say we have a plan. I don't know about the other sports, but ice skating, we do have a plan, and we are hopeful that we will be able to execute it.
Actually, you know the factors and you've factored in everything.
Yeah.
And as you have a plan,
Yeah.
then you just have problem is solved.
Yeah.
You have to work on it.
Yes.
It's said very easily,
Yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah.
And we can only imagine
Yeah.
because you train at freezing temperatures, you
Yeah.
play at freezing
Yeah.
temperatures. How difficult it is.
Oh, it's really difficult. I think the first thing I had to get used to was the cold in Europe. I think I would go deliver newspapers in the night in December to just get used to the cold. And that really helped me. And then eventually, obviously, then again, it's all about the mind. How motivated you are to pursue what you do. And that's it.
Okay. And what are the challenges in sports overall in India right now? Things getting better?
Yeah, as I said, we are asking the right questions. We are open to asking the right questions. So obviously, it's getting better than before when we were just hiding our heads in the sand. I think now we are asking the right questions. If you're asking the right questions, we will be able to find the right answers.
Right. So, yeah, what's your further vision as a coach for India?
I think for further vision as a mentor, I want to just mentor the kids for now. And because I don't think I can be a very good coach, but I know that I can share my experiences and my stories and help the next generation. And that is what I'm trying to do already.
All right.
And obviously the coaches also need to understand that a lot. So I'm trying to do both as good as possible.
Right. And how do you see your records as milestones?
The records are meant to be broken. So they will be broken at some point by someone, and should be possible.
Right. And your education in engineering, has it helped you in your...
At least, yeah, obviously, engineering teaches you logic. So you just I'm on the side of logic a lot more than often, which helps.
So how was your training at Ladakh? Every year you go now.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It's. I think what we do at sea level, we try to do it on higher level because lack of oxygen helps your body produce more red blood cells, oxygen carrying cells, and that's what's up. And then that helps you kind of to perform and have more stamina and endurance. So that is how it helps me a lot. So we do Ladakh. I do also one altitude training camp in the French Alps. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you go to French Alps as well. And
Yeah.
how's your experience different at French Alps and your...
The wildlife in Ladakh is a little bit more wilder than the one in Europe. Europe does not have that many wild animals anymore, or poisonous animals anymore. There's no snakes per se, or cheetahs outside, snow leopards running outside. So yeah,
So it's a little safer?
in terms of wildlife, yeah. And I think the traffic also helps. People understand you cycling on the road. They will not knock you over and will wait for you. And yeah.
Right. So great having you here,
Yeah.
and we had a very interesting session.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you for being patient with my questions and my approach of being mixed with Gujarati English.
Yeah, I really wanted to do this in Gujarati English because I feel like Gujarati audience mate, I have, it's been a long time I have done something. So this is really nice to do.
Yeah. So the kind of the way we have kept in Gujarati and English is that this is for the global Indian diaspora, and across the world we need to put our language with pride.
Yeah, exactly. We are
And
proud of Gujarati.
Yeah, because I started with English podcasts and probably people were saying that why not Gujarati?
Yeah.
So then said we want to produce the content for the global Gujarati community
Correct.
and the global Indians.
Mm.
So, but yes, when you talk about Ahmedabad and when you talk about people from Ahmedabad, couldn't stop me much from bringing Gujarati, and you created the right environment
Yeah.
where you were said, all right, Gujarati is okay.
Gujarati is fine. I mean, when you go to Europe, the European skaters and athletes speak in their language. Why can't we do that?
Right.
You know.
So let's be very proud of our languages also, and let's make, and we hope we will have lot more interesting podcasts to come in, and
Thank you.
I would love to get you again.
Thank you so much.
All the very best.